I've been doing a lot of DCC conversions recently, and I've learned a lot, including when it's time to cut your losses and throw in the towel. Hey everybody, my name's Jimmy. Welcome to Coffee and Trains. Today I'm still drinking on that Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Got a bunch of it down there. If you want to tell me what kind of coffee you are drinking and have it featured just like these guys right here, you can leave that in the comments below, and who knows, you might see your comment on the next Coffee and Trains. Cheers, guys. Today we have DCC ready locomotives that can make conversions from DC to DCC easy, but a lot of us have older locomotives that require some work to convert. There are a couple factors you need to consider when converting an older locomotive: the state of the engines, hardware, and the amount of space you'll have to work with. The state of the locomotive covers quite a lot of things. You could be modifying a solid runner from your layout, or an eBay find. The first thing you need to check is, does everything work? Is the electric motor functional? Are the gears and drive mechanism working or in need of restoration? But it goes a little bit deeper than that. With electric motors, you need to see how much power they draw. Older motors tend to be less efficient and draw more power. This may be more power than the decoder can supply. The easy way to test this is to hook a multimeter into your track feeder and let the power run through it. Then run the throttle at maximum while holding the locomotive down with enough pressure to stop the drive wheels. The amperage you get on the meter is the stall current. This will tell you the max that the motor can handle. You need to make sure that your decoder can handle that much, or you may need to swap the motors out and use something like a generic motor or something called a repower kit. I'll link some of those in the description. This is more needed in HO rather than in-scale because the power needs are higher. You'll also probably need to replace the light in it as well. Nowadays you'll be using LEDs, but you want to make sure that you put a resistor in the line if your LED cannot handle the output from the decoder by itself. I've done a video where I did the math on resistors, and I'll link that at the end of this video. The other main issue is space. Decoders can take up a lot of room depending on which one you put in. This is less of an issue in HO scale as it is in N scale, obviously because of size. I know that I have milled out sections of chassis to be able to fit a decoder into a locomotive. And sometimes when you add a decoder, it can throw something off that was mechanically engineered to work in a certain way, and it throws off that balance. And then your engine doesn't work right, and I've had this happen twice. Once on my New York Central F unit conversion, and this actually happened with my Kato Big Boy, which is why I did not follow through with the conversion. Space becomes an even bigger issue if you're looking at sound. You have to have a place to put a speaker when you are converting. A couple of great places to hide speakers and decoders in N-scale are the tenders of steam locomotives, and you can hide speakers in the fuel tanks of diesel locomotives. Another place I will put electronics is the dummy units like B units of FAB consists. This permanently connects them, but that's okay. One of my favorite things that Scale Trains does with their models is put both the speaker cutouts and the wire runs into their chassis. The Kato Big Boy actually does have wire runs as well in the metal frame of the chassis. Sugar Cube speakers are my personal favorites for DCC sound conversions, and they can get pretty small too. Adding a baffle to the speaker can amplify the sound and give you more realism. So, when do I throw in the towel on a DCC conversion? My first point that I will cut my losses is if the decoder does not fit and can't be made to fit without some serious work. While it is possible, I have sheared enough chassis into pieces that if it involves more than a little bit of grinding on a metal chassis, I'm probably not going to do it. If the decoder can fit, but the locomotive is too far gone and will take a bunch of work or custom parts to fix, I will probably call it quits there too. Let's say you open up a locomotive and the motor is old and power hungry and the gears have chipped a bunch of their teeth. This is where I'm going to nope on out. If I make it past this point, I'm probably going to do the install. But if I get close to done and do a test and I can't make the locomotive run properly, then it's time for a hard decision to make. This can be stuff as obvious as the motors don't turn, or the gears are slipping, or what happened with the big boy conversion and it started having a ton of trouble taking turns without jumping the track because of the way the wiring was. If I make it past all of this and my locomotive runs, then huzzah! I have successfully converted my locomotive to DCC. DCC conversions don't have to be scary, but you also don't want to be beating your head against the wall in frustration. So knowing when to call it quits is a pretty good thing too. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, drink some coffee, and happy railroading.